I am back. We go over round two now. Um, so round two, I'm against blue-red control, and both these games are pretty tilting because I lost. So, uh, but still go over it. Again, this hand is like perfect versus a random field. Got turn one torch existence. And that's always the play. This is a turn one torch existence. You got it. So then we'll lead off with the Fume Spitter, play tap land, and pass the turn. It's gonna be a heck of a grind game. So if I'm pretty short with the various plays, it's because this game goes to like turn 20 plus, I think. So a lot of the decisions are just kind of a given. Attack, and I think, yeah, I just play a Crypt Rats here. I assume he's on some kind of a blue-red control deck because he's got a Swiftwater Cliffs and a Radiant Fountain. So I don't need to hold on to the Crypt Rats or protect it or anything or save it because the biggest creature I expect to see from him is like an Augur Bolus. Maybe a Mole Drifter if I'm unlucky. So just getting attackers out there is important. I missed the land drop here, so I'm probably playing the Baron more, I think. Yeah. So just play out the Baron more. He's not really doing much, so I don't feel the need to do anything. In reality, I probably should have jammed out the Stinkweed Imp, or rather, sacrifice like a Fume Spitter to itself, and then put the Stinkweed Imp in the graveyard. So doesn't seem to matter too much though because he bolts my Crypt Rat, so I think I do that anyways. I just put out the Stinkweed Imp. Oh no, I just get back the Crypt Rats? I don't know what I'm doing here. Obviously, I'm just misplaying. Because it definitely showed up with the Imp in the yard and started putting pressure on there. Started dredging aggressively. Looks like I finally realized my mistakes here, and now I start dredging. He's going to counterspell everything I do, I think, basically, for the rest of the game. And I'm going to keep on dredging the Stinkweed. I'm looking for my land recovery spells here, or a Grave Scrubber, which I hit. So, that's good. Can't quite use the Grave Scrubber yet, but got it, which is nice. He taps out here, so I do go for the Grave Scrubber and get it on the field. Just getting back Fume Spitter and the Lampad. And the Lampad just so I can sacrifice the Grave Scrubber if I need to keep the engine going. He's got an Augur. Chose not to dredge there because I'm just kind of looking for lands. It's more likely that I top deck a land than dredge a Tree Folk or a Tusker. I might be wrong. Not sure. But ultimately, that's what I decided to do. Like I said, there's a lot of misplays here that I definitely made. And my plan should have been all along to just dredge Stinkweed Imp to get land enablers. I do hit a land here, which is good for me. Start getting in the Scrabblers. So he Flame Slashes my Scrabbler, which is a mistake. Almost never kill Torch Existence's Scrabblers, if you can help it. Because, like, they're just an endless supply of you have to counter this spells. And that's the way this game's going to go for a little bit. See, he's casting typical blue-red control stuff. Hold on, I don't know how to rewind, but anyway, he cast Deep Analysis there, and then he didn't cast it from the graveyard, so I went ahead and just exiled it, and looks like an Exclude, I think. Yeah. With the Fairy Macabre. And then here, I know one of these turns I just I missed one of these activations. Wasn't this turn, obviously, but so just get back Scrabbler. Chose not to dredge again for reasons that are completely unknown to me. But I ended up with a Tusker, which is good, because now I can just get more lands. And me choosing not to dredge a bunch of these times, especially with like a brown scale, is going to end up costing me this game. Along with the Mist Torture Existence activation. So he goes for a Mystic Sanctuary here. Probably trying to grab a counterspell or something, and I'm just going to exile that with Fairy Macabre. So there we've got the Mole Drifter. I'm going to go for the Scrabbler again. And I'm targeting the Fairy Macabre because I need to have one in my hand at all times, basically. Again, I choose not to dredge because I don't know why. This might be the turn that I missed. I think this was reminiscent to me of the turn that I missed activation of Torture Resistance. Yeah. So I just skipped Torture Resistance activation there, and that cost me a lot of tempo because I just didn't do anything that turn. I just time walked myself. And because I did that, I'm going to be really, really close to, or really, really low on life, which is going to be my undoing when he fireballs me. So I remember to play Scrabbler this turn. Counters it, and just grab another Scrabbler. Now I start dredging because I realize what's going on here, which is that I'm going to be losing to the beatdowns if I don't do something about this. So, play out the Scrabbler. And at this point, too, I still haven't hit like a second brown scale. I only got the one. So that's a bit unfortunate. Jam out the Fume Spitter, kill this Mole Drifter. And this is a mistake on my part, because I should have maybe led with like a Crypt Rats or something instead, but I didn't choose to do that. I think my replay might have froze. Yeah, my replay froze. But anyway, this goes on for a little bit, and I keep on cycling lands, and eventually he develops a board state just I need a Crypt Rat, and he bolts my face a couple of times, and then Carevex torches me for exactly lethal. So that's how that game went. Unfortunately, my replay froze, so I can't do anything about that. Let's see if I can get back to that point of the game. See if it's frozen for good. while we're waiting, you're seeing that there's just a lot of decisions that I have to make, a lot of micro decisions, and making the wrong ones or like skipping an activation will cost you the game. Like instead of messing around with, I don't remember what I was going to say just now, but anyway, like instead of dredging there a lot, then if I had been dredging this whole time, I might have actually won this game, but I didn't. So just not dredging was a misplay. You'd think that like drawing a card or failing to draw a card would not be a misplay, but it can be. Or pretty close to where we were when the replay froze last time, so let's see if it keeps up. And like here, grabbing a Tusker instead of grabbing like a brown scale cost me. And it looks like we froze again. Yeah. So something about this spot right here doesn't like it. Alright, anyway, I'll see for the next game. Is that it plays out pretty much like we keep on grinding here, and then eventually there's a I'm down to like 11 life or something, and then he torches me for 13, and all I have is one brown scale in the yard activate. So I die to torch. Going on to game 2. Well, it's another kind of tilting game here. Oops. So so for the sideboarding, check out the Spore Frogs and Deadweight and a Faceless Butcher. And I added Thorn, Raven's Crime, and the Caustic Caterpillars. Not sure if he's going to bring in relics, but I assume he's going to. So I brought in the Caustic Caterpillars because they're cheaper to cast than these Wicker Wilders. So let's see how that goes. I'm looking at the first hand because it was like 5 lands and a Mesmeric Fiend and like a Stinkweed Imp or something. Keep this hand instead, I think, and put a swamp on the bottom. Leading off the cost with a Tranquil Thicket, and I'm just going to play out a Caustic Caterpillar. Just put some kind of pressure on him. Like, my deck isn't good at applying pressure, but what little pressure that I can apply, I need to. So here I take the route that I'm just going to cycle to try and thin out my deck. Because I have no real card draw here. And cycling the Tranquil Thicket, looking basically exactly for Tortured Existence. And he's got 2 mana open. He's going to leave 2 mana open for the rest of the game, too. So basically, I have to go down on this like bad creature beatdown plan. And that's the only way I can win this match. Unless I draw multiple Tortured Existences. Cycling the Barrymore because I need to draw more pressure. Now this kind of sucks because when I cycle the Thicket, I can't play the brown scale anymore. So he lets me commune with the gods, and I think I take a tree folk here. Yeah, take the tree folk. I'm planning on rebuying like Thicket and Barrymore. But in the meantime, just get down Crypt Rats. I got Tree Folk Crabs. I get Barrymore, which is just this kind of makes this Tree Folk like a Muldrifter. It's not often, but I do get to do that occasionally. Just be a Muldrifter. Here I grab a Swamp, and I remember at the time too thinking, oh crap, I should have grabbed a Forest to be able to play this Brown Scale. So that was another misplay on my part by not grabbing the Forest. So I do finally get a Tortured Existence here, but I can't play it out into this mana. So I'm going to Commune first. And I grab myself a Mesmeric Fiend. So this is good for me here because with the Fiend I can now kind of clear the way to the Tortured Existence. So I set it up, play the Fiend. What does he do? He doesn't counter or do anything with it. And then I'm going to Crypt Rats to kill the Fiend while it's on the stack. So, let's see what his hand does. So his hand is a Curse of the Bloody Tome, Deep Analysis, Ghostly Flicker, and Tragic Lesson. And then 3 lands. So, out of these 3, I chose to remove the Curse of the Bloody Tome, because if he plays this, and I can't answer it very quickly, I'll die. Basically that I would need to rebuy this Caustic Caterpillar and try and replay it multiple times. I mean, yes, he's going to be feeding my graveyard while he's doing that, but I took the curse. Doesn't actually matter in this context because of what happens, but in the future, I probably would have actually taken the Flicker or the Tragic Lesson, given that he had a Sanctuary and he had another Sanctuary in hand. So one of those two was the correct play. I ended up taking the curse, but yeah. So I took the curse, but you saw his hand there. He didn't have a counterspell. Right. Cleared the way with the Mesmeric Fiend. So then he's going to Ghostly Flicker, and off of his Seagate he gets a counterspell. And it's basically the worst counterspell for me. So the game is basically over at this point. I stick it out for a few turns because I'm an idiot, but when he counters that, it's done because I'm attacking him for 1, and even my creatures are basically worthless, and I can't even stop his Sanctuary loop. So basically his counterspell on that, and the other thing about that last turn was that counterspell was that I had dug like 25 cards into my deck before seeing Tortured Existence. So that was the other really bad thing about it. But not to say I didn't misplay, because I know I did, but but my misplays notwithstanding, him happening to draw a counterspell after I've cleared the way was incredibly frustrating. And then I've got another Tortured Existence, but I know he's got a Deprive on top from his various Sanctuaries, so I think I just concede here. Or I concede relatively quick soon. Yeah. Okay, so once he casts Arcane Minister, I think that's when I'm like, oh yeah, okay, because I'm just done. Because he didn't even like rebuy Flicker with Arcane Minister. So the jig is up. And I concede.